Now, a sort of filtration which is really quite effective that we really don't hear about anymore is reverse flow under gravel filters. And what a reverse flow under gravel filter is where you force water down the outlet of the under gravel with a power head instead of sucking the water up. And then what that does is distribute water through the bottom of the plate and then up through the gravel, particularly if run in conjunction with a filter like a canister filter to pick up any particles that get blown up into the water. It really is quite a decent means of filtration, which is also extremely cheap. I'm not a huge fan of running the filter straight off a canister though, because the water that comes out of a canister is often in oxygen deficit, because all the good bacteria in the canister takes all of the oxygen out of the water, and then you're forcing the low oxygen water through the gravel, which is not really the end of the world, but it isn't ideal. I would rather pick the water straight off the surface with the power head and force that through the under gravel. That way the water is nice and fresh in oxygen, and I would just run the canister as usual, and I'll try to use the outlet of the canister to agitate the surface as much as possible to recoup some of the oxygen that the filter itself will have actually taken out of the water. I wouldn't recommend doing this with plants because it is relatively important to ensure that the makeup of gases underneath the gravel is different to the aquarium, because it aids their osmosis and various things like that. But if you have fish that like slow flow water, or if you have messy fish, so you could force some of the waste out of the gravel, there is definitely a lot of merit in considering running an under gravel filter as a reverse flow. It's probably quite an underrated filter, and it's probably something that certainly could make a bit of a comeback in the hobby. Under gravel filters did really disappear for a while, but I have noticed they probably are gaining a little bit of ground again, mainly because how cheap they are, how relatively effective they are, especially for the price. And providing you have an under gravel filter and you have a gravel cleaner, gravel vac, and you're doing somewhat regular water changes, they really are an option.